All right, so in this lesson, we're going to talk about our first trig ratio, tangent. Okay, so we're going to start off with some definition. So a trig ratio, a trigonometric ratio, is the ratio of the lengths of two sides in a right triangle. Okay. The tangent ratio is a trig ratio for acute angles that involves the lengths of the legs of a right triangle. Okay. So let's take a look at this triangle we have here. So let's kind of talk about what this means. So we have a right triangle. C is the right angle, and B and A are the acute angles in the triangle. Okay. So tangent, the ratio of tangent is equal to the opposite over the adjacent side. Okay. So we're either going to be talking about angle B, like based on the angle we're talking about, it's kind of based on what sides, but let's say we're talking about the tangent of angle A. The tangent of angle A is equal to the opposite over the adjacent side. Okay, so in this case, the tangent of A is equal to the length of BC over AC. Okay. Now, here in quotation marks is this thing called angle of elevation. Now, you guys are going to see this kind of quite a bit in like word problems and stuff like that, and it's important to know what the angle of elevation is. The angle of elevation is this angle right here, the acute angle that it makes with the ground, essentially. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind. Okay. And then this is the hypotenuse as well. But hypotenuse is not really involved in the tangent. It's mostly it's adjacent, and the hypotenuse side that's involved in the tangent ratio. Okay. All right, so let's talk about what's on the bottom here. So there is a difference between this and this. Okay, so we have a right triangle here with acute angle A and B, angle B. So they first want us to find the tangent of B. So when they want us to find the tangent of something, they want us to find the ratio of the sides based on that, where that angle is. Okay, so if we're talking about the measure, if we're talking about the tangent of B, then this is based on where angle B is. This is the opposite, and this is the adjacent. Okay, so the tangent of B is equal to 32 over 24. Okay? Because tangent is opposite. Remember, as we talked about, opposite over adjacent. Okay? Now you actually want to find the measure of angle B. Okay? Now, from our previous lesson, you guys know when you want to find an angle measure, we have to take the inverse of both sides. So we're going to take, in order to find that, we're going to take the tangent inverse of both sides. So B is equal to the tangent inverse of 32 over 24. Okay. So if we go to our calculator, so it's already in degree mode as we want. So tangent inverse 32 over 24. So measure of angle B is going to be equal to 53.13010, blah, 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 blah. So the measure of angle B is equal to, let's say, just 53 degrees. Okay. All right, so let's go to the next page and let's do some more examples. All right, I am not going through all these examples, okay? I'm only going to do a few. But for each of these, we want to find the value of each trig ratio. So we literally just want to set up the angle tangent of whatever angle is equal to the opposite over adjacent. So something that looks like this, okay? So let's take a look at one. So tangent of C. So because we were talking about the angle C, I like to put this person, as you guys can kind of see, I've done that a few times. I like to put my person at the angle I know or the angle I want to find, okay? Okay, this just kind of gives me like some perspective of like what my opposite is and what my adjacent is, okay? So based on my person, this is my opposite, and this is my adjacent, and this is my hypotenuse. Remember, it's always, the hypotenuse is always across from the right angle, okay? So we have opposite over adjacent. So the tangent of C is equal to 16 over 30, okay? And that's it. All right, so let's look at 3. So tangent of C, so again, we're putting my person here. This is my opposite, this is my adjacent, and this is my hypotenuse. So the tangent of C, again, is opposite over adjacent. So my opposite side length is 32 over 24. Okay. All right, let's look at 5. So again, tangent of C, so find where that angle is that they're talking about. So this is my opposite, my adjacent, and my hypotenuse. So tangent of C is equal to 10 over 24. And then the last one, tangent of Z, so here is my person. Okay, now this is my opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse, so tangent of Z, again, is opposite over adjacent, so tangent of Z is equal to 18 over 24. All right, so let's go to the next page. All right, so for these, we want to find the missing sides. I'm not going to go through all of them, I'm only going to go through some of them, like I just went through some of them on the last page, but I do want to go over a few, okay? So let's start with 8. So I'm putting my person here because I put my person at the angle I know or the angle I want to find, okay? Now, I like to label my side, so this is opposite, adjacent, hypotenuse. Now, because we want to find the opposite and we're given the adjacent, we're going to use tangent. Okay, so tangent is opposite over adjacent. So tangent of my angle, now my angle is 48 degrees, so that's going to go here. My opposite is x, and my adjacent side is 15, okay? Now I'm going to cross multiply. Okay, so 15 times tangent 48 is going to be equal to x. Now since I already now have x by itself, I'm going to do 15 times tangent of 48. Okay, so x is going to equal 16.659187772, and rounded to the nearest tenth, 16.7. Okay. All right, so let's look at 10. So again, I'm putting my angle, my person here because this is the angle I'm given. So this is my opposite, adjacent. So tangent of 47 is equal to 19 over x. Now, because x is the denominator, I'm going to need to do an extra step. Okay, so x times tangent cross multiplying x times tangent of 47 is equal to 19. And then I'm going to divide by tangent of 47. Those cancel, so x is equal to 19 over tangent of 47. So I have 19 divided by the tangent of 47. Okay, so x is going to equal 17.717786664. So x is 17.7. Okay. All right, so I'm going to do, let's do 62. I mean, let's do the next 62. Let's do 13. Okay, so here's my person. Okay, this is my opposite and adjacent. So tangent of 62 is equal to 16 over x. Now, just like this one, how x is in the denominator, I'm going to need to do an extra step. Okay, so 16 is equal to x times tangent of 62. Now I divide both sides by tangent of 62. So x is equal to 16 over tangent of 62. Tangent of 62. So x is equal to 8.5073500907. X is equal to 8.5. All right, so let's do a couple of these examples. So let's look at this one. Okay, so now we want to find the measure of the angle. Okay, now we don't know this angle, but we want to find this angle. So that's why I'm putting my person here. Okay, so I put my person at the place that I either want to find my angle or I know my angle. Okay, so based on where my angle is, this is my opposite and my adjacent. Okay. Now we're still using tangent, okay? It's just we're not going to put anything in the angle spot because that's what we're finding, okay? That's what we're solving for. So tangent of x is equal to 11 over 45. Now to solve for the measure of an angle, we have to take the tangent inverse of both sides, okay? So x is equal to tangent inverse of 11 over 45, okay? So tangent inverse 11 over 45 is equal to that. So I get 13.73626831. So to the nearest degree, it's 14. It's going to be 14 degrees. Okay. All right, and so let's look at 16. So again, I put my person at the angle I'm trying to find. So this is my opposite and my adjacent. So tangent of x is equal to my opposite over adjacent. So tangent of x is equal to 18 over 46. So I take my tan inverse of both sides. So x is equal to tangent inverse of 18 over 46. So x is equal to 21.37062227. So to the nearest degree, it's x is equal to 21 degrees. Okay.